Hi, how you doing?
Doing well, Mark Gersel.
Gersel Scott Stottlecheck.
Nice
Nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
you.
I really appreciate you calling me in here.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well,
And
thank you.
honestly, I just have a few questions to take a few minutes of your time.
Sure.
I truly value your input as a valued Cummins employee, and I heard that you've done a lot of analysis on the 3 locations that we're considering.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've given some long nights and weekends to this firm, so I really appreciate you taking my opportunity to do this.
Absolutely. So, as the Vice President of Community Affairs, my questions are going to be more directed towards that. But I'd like to get an overview of your analysis and kind of the things you considered with your numbers. So, within the 3 options, Indiana, India, and UK, which is the best fit for our new hedgehog line?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So it's pretty open-ended. With all 3 areas, there are definitely some pros and cons to each one.
Right.
My initial instinct, to be honest with you, is to answer the question with Indiana, Seymour, Indiana. We have a presence here within the United States that is just basically, in my opinion, how this firm is built. We have, I know a lot of our revenue, I think about half our revenue coming from offshore and international ventures. But when I think about it, and I think about Cummins and what we stand for and kind of how we're involved, the American spirit is kind of how we branded ourselves. So to be honest with you, I think that probably my answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, with that, what qualifications and constraints did you consider when making your decision for Indiana?
So I was on the team. I was on the initiative team that kind of helped to give you this idea. We looked through a lot of analysis, and essentially, we do know that a lot of Cummins strategy is to deal with the community involvement.
Right.
And so one of the things that Seymour offers that really none of either India, or the UK offers is CEC fund matching from the state government. And so we can look at about a $4 to $5 million grant from them that has negative or infinite positive externalities from that. So we are implementing the stakeholder model here within Commons, and so that definitely helps us to do that.
Right.
Another thing is that within the Seymour plant, there would be room for both engineering and manufacturing teams to be employed there. And so when you think about this brand new hedgehog line that we're trying to launch, you're going to need both of these teams there working together. And so that's what I would say for you.
Awesome.
Those are 2 things.
Now, when I received your analysis yesterday, there were some numbers involved. The NPV analysis, primarily on Pune, India. So I was curious if you would mind unpacking those numbers for me and letting me know whether or not that's a significant consideration I need to be thinking about.
Sure, yeah. So within Cummins, obviously, we're a for-profit firm, but we also have a very high value put on the community and how we have that stakeholder model, like I mentioned. And so the India plant, the Pune, India, has an NPV of 112, and Seymour, Indiana, has an NPV of 108. Okay. So when you run those numbers, honestly, it's only a 3.5% difference. But with that, though, you also get with Indiana, rather, you also get the CEC fund matching, and so we're talking about a 3.5% difference here with net present value, but you also have weighted very highly, $45 million grant. So. Right. Those are kind of the numbers that we looked at. Very small, basically the same in my eyes, but then you also get the CEC fund matching. So those are the thoughts behind that.
Perfect. That's a great point. The CEC fund matching is something that I'm extremely interested in. And so, with that, would you say that Seymour is the best location for future community involvement? And you mentioned the $4 to $5 million government incentives. And is that something that we can look forward to as Cummins in Seymour?
Yeah, absolutely. So through our extensive market research, we realized that neither India or the UK offer any kind of grants. India definitely does not have anything, and to be honest with you, because I want to be transparent, Daventry UK has a possibility, but not a very high chance of us getting any kind of grant. So, like I said, with that in mind, the Indiana plant offers the best opportunity for growth within Cummins because we can continue to employ that stakeholder model like we've always done. I mean, you've been here longer than I have, and you know how imperative that is for our growth. So that was the rationale behind that.
Perfect. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that the CEC will succeed here in Seymour.
I would say so. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's been my biggest struggle is understanding whether or not the CEC is replicable? Is it something that is only unique to Columbus, Ohio, or is it something that we can bring into Seymour?
Yeah, no, that's a totally valid concern. So what we have in Columbus, Ohio is incredible, as you know. I mean, it is the pinnacle and absolutely something that we would love to try and replicate.
Right.
I think that the very hard and objective criteria that we can look at in in Indiana that is replicable in Indiana from Columbus, Ohio is first and foremost the CEC. What they do is they try and educate the community. And so with this fund matching from the state government in Indiana, we can help that idea grow. Currently, there is not a 100% high school graduation rate within Indiana, specifically Seymour, Indiana, and so that does let us try and replicate what we've seen in Columbus, Ohio. And on a second note, what's also very interesting in Columbus is that Cummins is the largest employer within that community, and so it has a lot more weight to throw around and kind of to be an influence within the community. Again, that is the exact same story within Seymour, Indiana. We would be the largest employer within the community, and you can expect to see our leverage being utilized for the CEC and the governmental education that we've known in Columbus, Ohio. So I think for those 2 points, it very much so is replicable. Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Right.
Well, Scott, I really do appreciate your input.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm happy to give it anytime.
I have a meeting in about 5 minutes with Mr. Lineberger, and I'm going to bring the information you provided with me to him. And
I really absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Let me know if you have any more questions. I would love to get a chance to talk to Mr. Lineberger as well if you need me to.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.